That's not very nice of you. I mean, where's your mask, honey?
Didn't bring it. Your speech really got at the heart of how the sexual liberation movement made women feel more deprived, objectified, unfulfilled. And I'm wondering, how do we women tangibly correct this path when so many of our paychecks and therefore a lot of our livelihoods depend on our silence, on being complacent?
I think being in the culture at large and being a happy person and a confident person and just, frankly, just shining your light is it's very hard to deny for people. And you have to be silent. I mean, I would just say, this is who I am. It's great to have this job. I can't wait to learn more. And it's amazing how many people you influence just by your example. And you don't have to preach to people to be a great example. You don't have to talk politics. You can just be who you are. And, I mean, I happen to know, because I live in an area where there's a lot of kind of unhappy, angry, liberal women, okay? And they're the angriest people in the parking lot. They're still yelling at me for going the wrong way in the grocery store, the arrows, you got to go this way, not this. Oh, my God, they chased me down the aisle once. Like, these people are so angry all the time. And I'm just having a good time with my kids. They're always upset. So I think just be a happy warrior in your own life, but also just be a happy person. Let's go back to that pursuit of happiness. Don't forget that. God wants us all to be, as much as we can be, positive. Be of good cheer. Life will throw you some really tough stuff. These are the good old days, believe it or not, for most of you. So enjoy them while you have them. So keep smiling. You're going to do great.
Hi, my name is Prissa. I'm from California, and I'm starting a chapter at my high school next year.
Fantastic. Woo! We're going to take California back.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. I'm not giving up on California.
So my question is from a personal experience. I grew up with a really close friend who unfortunately made the decision to take hormones. And I just want to know how to respectfully approach conversations with people participating in the trans movement about them being perfectly and wonderfully created, loved by God, but to question the radical idea that their transition is something out of their control and something they should take pride in, to explain that we do love them for who they are, but they're changing who they are.
Yeah, I've never been in that position, I have to say, but I would just love them. I would love them more than you've ever loved them. And that sounds maybe trite to say, but I think there's an enormous amount of pain buried in a lot of people, and I'm not taking myself out of that equation. Like, people are walking around with their own personal stories and difficult stories. And I think the best we can do, and I say this from more of a Catholic Christian perspective, is to love people. And it doesn't mean you have to salute their choices. I mean, we all know friends, and we ourselves have gone in the wrong direction. But at the right time, figure out a way to say, I'm here if you have any, thoughts about this, or maybe you're not sure, or maybe you feel like you're being pushed in this direction. I'm here for you, always. And I'll always love you for who you are. But, I'm a Christian, and I'm a believer, and I think God loves you just the way you are, just the way you were born. And God has a great plan for you. That's what I try to say.
Good evening, Laura. My name is Simone Lonsane. I graduated from Oak Crest School in Vienna, Virginia in 2022.
Hello. Fantastic.
And I'm now the chapter president of Turning Point USA at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Wow, UNC. Wow, great school.
My parents were fortunate enough to work incredibly hard and make the greatest investment into my life by providing me with an excellent liberal arts education that fosters both intellectual and spiritual growth. My parents were able to be my primary educators, not by homeschooling me, but by sending me to a school that supports and celebrates what they value most. What do you believe we as conservatives can do to broaden school choice and make a virtuous and truth-based education open to more American children?
Well, it's a great question. I will say I was actually at the Oakcrest graduation last weekend because my goddaughter was a salutatorian at that school, and I was so proud of her, and it is an amazing school. It's an all-girls Catholic school. Well, I have to say, first of all, that we have to, as individuals, as citizens of this country, realize that people are coming at their educational experience from different places. Right? You happen to have two parents who were, resourceful enough to be able to get you into that school, and there are not many schools like that across the country, and to guide you along the way. It's a very hard school, first of all. It's a difficult school. So a lot of people don't have that option. But I think what we're seeing is a new cooperation and a new alliance across ethnicities and religions, racial lines, of parents who have said enough is enough. This week I featured a Muslim American father, Egyptian, who is an American citizen, very active in Montgomery County, Maryland, where, of course, you're right near your old school. And I've been begging for this to happen, but finally we see Christian conservatives, Muslim Americans, and even people of really no faith who are just want their kids to get a good education, who are now working together saying, we might not agree on this issue or that issue or Second Amendment or, but we agree on these kids. These kids have a chance to be taught the greatness of our country, the free market, the religious liberty tradition of our country, our Constitution, our Declaration. And it's amazing to see Muslims, Christians, and even non-believers now standing up at these school board meetings saying, no, I'm coming for your board membership. I'm coming for your job. That is what had to happen. And I think the left has finally driven. When I talked about that Gallup poll that came out, that is really significant, guys. The left has, again, they've gone so far left, they've left America. They have moved the needle so far into the red zone that now people who kind of said, oh, let bygones be bygones, let's just get along. Now people are saying, no. If you do that, you are submitting. And you're going to wake up one day and you'll think you're living in a foreign country. You will not recognize anything around you. I think that's what's happening. So you're seeing that in Florida and other states across this country. Arizona, very powerful school choice initiative there, because parents have said, I'm not funding this anymore. And also, you're going to start seeing this with the way we're discussing our military as well. Our military is even turning down this very dark and twisted path. So I think there's good news there, and it's multi-ethnic, it's multiracial, and it spans the religious spectrum as well. So that's where it's happening, in my view. You're welcome. Congratulations, UNC. I love it. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Reese. I'm from a small town outside of Austin called Liberty Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Very little. We're good at football. That's about it. But I have a younger brother who has a bleeding disorder that's already rare, and my mom's pretty active in the chapter, which is the Lone Star Bleeding Chapter of Texas. The flag. And my mom recently got an email the other day for a summit labeled WG and PWPM, women, girls, and people with potential to menstruate. So my question is, who the hell are people with potential to menstruate? And why are men allowed to advertise for tampons?
Well, I'm not sure if that's really a question that I can answer. I mean, because I think for a long time conservatives abandoned the culture. And, in my generation, they went into the law or investment banking or consulting. And we kind of left the arts and the culture, working in academia, to the left. We gave them an empty playing field. And boy, did they dominate it. I think it's time for us to decide, we're going to have our own parallel economy. You're going to do this to our kids at Target. Guess what? We will not go to Target. You're going to do this with your beer? No, we will not drink that. I'm sorry, but the power of the purse matters. I'm not a huge boycott person. Obviously, it can be turned on, me at any moment. But if I draw the line at children. If you're going to do this to children, then no, I will not give you a penny of my money. Period. Not 1 penny. So everyone needs to put their money where their mouths are on this stuff and eliminate the convenience and do the right thing with your pocketbook. That's my view. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Avery Von Minden, and my question for you is, in your opinion, do you think there's any hope in restoring the nation that our founding fathers envisioned?
Restoring the nation to our founders' vision, is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely I do. I mean, why are we here? If I didn't think it was possible, I wouldn't be here tonight. I have 3 teenagers, okay? I'd be just focusing on them tonight. But the reason I'm here is not just to meet so many of you and to support, what Turning Point does day in and day out, but because I believe in my heart of heart that this country is filled with great, God-loving, freedom-loving people who want to live in freedom and happiness and true religious liberty, where your values aren't insulted at every turn. And I think the religious awakening will follow everything that's happening now. It's beginning to happen. But remember, a lot of the churches were taken over by the left, too. Right? The churches have also gone down a dark path in many ways. But, I mean, this is a version of church tonight. We're here to support each other and to hold each other up. Ultimate truths. So, yeah, absolutely I do. I mean, America, we have to fight for the idea of freedom every day. It's not like, oh, we have freedom, then we can go back to sleep. No. Freedom is won every day. Because throughout history, human history, there have been forces that want to vanquish freedom. So we don't wear a uniform, but we got to fight on our hands. So I'm very positive about it.
Hi, Laura. My name is Clarice. Like you, I'm in the journalistic world. I'm a staff writer for a college newspaper. My question to you is, how do I stay strong with being a conservative, even though I'm receiving backlash just for being a conservative, a Republican, and at the same time, people have been going to my newspaper and being like, why do you have her as a staff member? Because she's very different. She has different views from you.
Well, I was editor of a conservative newspaper at Dartmouth College a long time ago. Before cable news, CNN had just really started. I was sued for $2.4 million by a music professor for libel. My mother, I think we made like $15,000 a year. So my mother was like, you're supposed to go to college to meet like a doctor or a lawyer. If you're trying to bring home a lawsuit. So, look, it's just part of the game. This is just part of the fight. You just have to keep going. So, I don't even think about it, right? People are like, oh, do you see what someone said about you? I'm like, they hate you. I'm like, get in line. If they don't, if the dominant culture, again, this is all in the, you guys are, a lot of you are Bible believers. This is all in the Bible. Jesus said, I didn't come to unite you. I came to divide you. Right? People forget that. Like the nice Jesus. And then there's the Jesus who's like, this is the line. Okay? So, you should be joy-filled if you are causing consternation on the left. That should make you really happy. It makes me happy. So keep going. Keep going with a smile on your face and undeterred. That drives them crazy. Absolutely nuts. They go crazy. Yeah. Couple more, then I'm going to collapse before my show.
Hi, Laura. I'm Nora. I am from Northern California. I just recently graduated high school and will be attending TCU in the fall.
TCU?
Yeah.
All right. I was just there about a month ago. I love that school.
Yeah. So I have 2 questions. One is a little side note. Where did you get your cross necklace?
Oh, from, sounds really weird. A jeweler right near the Vatican, actually. It's from Rome, but it's a 4-way cross. You can probably find one online.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then my second question is, since I'm going to be majoring in finance and accounting,
yeah.
What advice do you have for conservative women who are ambitious and strong, who want to become more empowered?
Yeah, well, I think finance is fantastic. Go into a career where you'll find your independence, and politics really isn't a big part of it. At least it shouldn't be. So be the best at what you want to do. Again, it sounds cliche, but it really isn't. I say this to my kids all the time, like, I want to do this. No. What are you really good at, and get better at it? Because, like, you know when you play a sport for the first time, you're like, oh, this isn't any fun, or then you hit that perfect forehand, or you hit perfect golf swing, and it feels great, right? So when you bring home that first A in Ecce 101 or whatever it is you're taking, or statistics, it's good. It's a great school. I love TCU. So just do fantastic, and you're going to meet so many wonderful kids there. I had an amazing tour about a month and a half ago, and I love it. I actually go in there tomorrow. Don't tell anybody. But I love TCU. So you're gonna have a great experience. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello, Laura.
Hey.
My name is Georgia Chapa, and I'm a sophomore at Texas A&M University.
Woo!
And I just have a question, seeking advice from you, considering this next election season that is upon us. How should we as conservatives and Christians navigate family relationships when, we don't want to compromise on truth, but these
You mean
people
dating someone who's what, a liberal?
Not dating, no.
God, no.
No, just family relationships like cousins.
Oh, friendships or,
And people that are blood related to us.
It's hard. I mean, I say this to, a lot to my pals in the media. I started off in the media. I was a lawyer. I clerked for Justice Thomas in the court a long time ago, and I was a white-collar criminal defense attorney. I went to UVA Law School. But I was a lawyer. I was a practicing lawyer, and I started writing a lot of op-eds. And I had people from all different backgrounds, friends with, and I still do. But it got pretty hot over the last 4 or 5 years, and I think part of the reason for that is because government has assumed too big of a role in our lives. Government's just too government shouldn't be this big in our lives. Politics shouldn't be that big of a, ideally if our representatives are doing their jobs, we should talk about a lot of other things other than politics. So what I would say with friendships and so forth, remember that life is a lot bigger than, the daily cultural and political fights. And again, the best way to model kind of what you stand for is the way you treat others who don't agree with you. And sometimes it's easy to fall back in satire and ridicule, and I'm guilty of that. But other times it's good to say, tell me why I'm curious of why you think that way, and how did you come to that understanding? And it's amazing when you ask people just simple questions, how you learn a little bit about them, but also they may be, well, wait a second, I'm not sure I thought this through all the way, So it's kind of good just to hear people talk, and maybe don't talk so much to them. Listen. So be a good listener. I try to be a better listener than I have been when I was maybe your age. I don't think I was a great listener when I was in my 20s. So if I could do it again, I'd listen more, talk less, and listen more. Good. Thank you.
Hi, Laura. My name's Callie. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
All right.
Yep. And my question is, as a God-fearing woman such as yourself, I know that I have a purpose on this earth and that I have God-given gifts that He has given me specifically. So I was just going to ask what your advice would be to someone who, like me, just graduated high school, so I have a lot left of my life, not quite sure what to do with those gifts that He gave me. Like for you, you were a defense attorney, you're in the media, you're a journalist, and you also are a mother. So I know I want to be a mother, but I also have so many qualities that God's given me that I just don't know what to do with yet.
Well, I think, again, surround yourself with people who are going to make you better. Don't and try your very best to eliminate people from your circle if they're pulling you away from what you know is true. And it doesn't mean you don't have to come back to them later on. Your cone, keep it tight, grow it when you can. But the people who are going to really lift you up are going to get you into that place where you say, maybe that's what I really enjoy doing. Or, gosh, that's an interesting path you've taken. You mind if I shadow you for a day or see what your daily life is like. But don't think it's going to be an instant. I had a very circuitous path getting to where I've gotten. It was a long path. And I don't necessarily recommend it. It was a topsy-turvy path. And if you would have told me that when I was, 18 or 19 years old in Hanover, New Hampshire, that I would be my age with 3 teenagers adopted from, 2 different countries and hosting a national television show every night at 10 o'clock Eastern, I'd be like, what are you smoking? I mean, that's not what I love my life. But I'm just saying, what you imagine your life might be, God might have a completely different plan. I wouldn't trade my life for anything. Any man, any job, nothing. I love what God has given me. I get down on my hands and knees.